It all began in '94, but the lineage could be traced back further. The Fatal Fury and Art of Fighting games held earlier iterations of the King of Fighters tournaments under traditional 1 vs. 1 rules. In 1993, SNK would release Fatal Fury Special as an update to Fatal Fury 2. A hidden character would end up being the main protagonist of the Art of Fighting series, Ryo Sakazaki, making Fatal Fury Special the first crossover fighting game. This was so well received that the next year, the King of Fighters '94 was born. The King of Fighters, the most famous series by SNK, one of the longest running franchises in all of gaming. With the 15th installment just around the corner, I've spent the last 10 months picking the series apart, gathering key details, and getting my ass kicked by people who've played the series for many years. And I'll tell you, I have nothing but fun doing it. Now, I'm no lore master, but I'm going to do my best to put things together as we journey through the King of Fighters legacy. The invitations are simply etched with the letter R. Rugal Bernstein is an influential black market weapons and drug dealer. Bored out of the lack of competition, he decides to host a version of the King of Fighters tournament under different rules, this time pitting teams of 3 against each other. Once again, the invitations get sent out and find their ways to the world's most wicked warriors. Terry Bogard holds the invitation in his hand with his name on it. It can't be Geese or Krauser, can it? The familiar name of King of Fighters puts a smile on his face as he forms the Fatal Fury team with his brother Andy and his friend Joe Higashi. Takuma Sakazaki shows his son Ryo and other student Robert Garcia the invitation. All 3 participated in the very first King of Fighters tournament during the events of Art of Fighting 2. The mysterious invitation from R makes its way to the mountains of China where Master Chin is training Athena and Kenso. They form Team Psycho Soldier and end the tournament. Mai, Yuri, and King form the Women Fighters. This is the only team that has characters from Fatal Fury and Art of Fighting on the same team, with Yuri and King being from the latter. Hyden immediately recognized the R on the invitation. The mission: destroy the syndicate working behind this year's fighting tournament. Of course he takes the mission, calling his 2 most trusted subordinates, Ralph Jones and Clark Still. Ostracized boxer Heavy D and All-American karate champion Lucky Glauber scout their 3rd team member, this year's football MVP, Brian Badler. The former criminals Big Man Chang Kyo-han and smaller man Choi Bounge are forced to join Kim Kap-wan's vision of Korean justice. Kyo Kusanagi met Benny Maru in the finals of a tournament held in Japan in which Kyo won. 3rd place would go to judo master Goro Daimon. The 3 would represent Japan in the King of Fighters, officially forming the Team Japan. The format of the King of Fighters is pretty straightforward. You choose a predetermined team of 3 and you travel the world to fight the other teams in their home countries. The women fighters represent England. The fight against them takes place at the Tower Hill Memorial in London. I like the Tower Bridge as the main background along with the big red bus and the British soldiers on horseback in the streets. The American sports team fight out of Brooklyn, right under the bridge. From the spectators to the hype man in the background to the skyline of Manhattan Bay, this stage has some of the best personality out of all of them. The standout of the tournament is Japan team's Kyo Kusanagi. Kyo is the direct descendant of the Kusanagi bloodline, which allows him to manipulate flames thanks to the Kusanagi sword, his clan's sacred treasure. I mean, look at these moves. He completely bodies the American sports team. The Psycho Soldier team representing China fight at Master Chin's temple next to the mountains of Hebei. The battle takes place in the backyard. One of the best intros in this game is when the gates slowly open to show the stage. Team Japan arrive in China and fight the Psycho Soldier team. In one of the closest fights, Master Chen and his students almost come up with the win. This victory gets the attention of Rugal, who starts to hope for Team Japan's victory, as they appear to be the strongest. And that's who he aims to fight. The heroes from Fatal Fury fight out of Italy. The battle rages in the city of Venice. The intro starts with some fireworks as it lowers to the fight area. Cameos from some Fatal Fury characters can be seen in the middle gondola. This will become a staple of KOF games, even in the upcoming 15, with cameos from other SNK properties making their appearances in the stage backgrounds. The Art of Fighting team fight out of Pow Pow Cafe in Mexico. The main hall has been cleared for the upcoming Team Japan versus Team Mexico match. I love how rowdy the crowd is, and one of the most badass KOF themes plays in the background. The Korean Justice team fight in Old Forest in South Korea. The intro is easily my favorite of KOF 94, with the raindrops followed by a lightning strike as it transitions to the stage. As the fight progresses, the trees begin to shake to show the high winds and storm taking place. The abandoned temple in the background is also a nice touch. The Ikari warriors represent Brazil, so it's only fitting that the fight takes place deep in the Amazon. The Ikari's downed helicopter suggests that someone may have gotten the drop on them prior to their fight. 8 years ago, Haydn encountered Rugal, who attacked the base he was at that also contained Haydn's wife and child. He would lose them both in the battle, including his eye. In another close battle, the Ikaris would narrowly lose against Team Japan. Kyo would end the match with his Orochinagi technique, securing the final confrontation with the tournament's host. Upon winning the last match, Rugal's secretary Mature leads them to where he awaits. The final battle takes place aboard the Black Noah, where the heroes find a beaten Sasio Kusanagi, Kyo's father. He had challenged Rugal before the heroes reached the finals. There, Rugal revealed his true intentions and why he hosted the tournament in the first place. It turns out, Rugal likes to turn his defeated enemies into statues, and plans to do so to the 4 of them and add them to his personal collection. Kyo and the boys take direct exception to this, as they fight one of the hardest battles of their lives. Rugal takes them to his control room, where he has portraits of himself hanging up in the background, a couple of Black Panthers, and a hologram of the globe in the middle of the stage. I can only imagine that the world would be next for Rugal after his victory here. An SNK boss wouldn't be complete without them being a complete monster in the second round, and monster Rugal is. He defeats Daimon easily, then makes short work of Benimaru. After defeating Daimon and Benimaru, it's Rugal and Kyo face to face in the final battle. Rugal was finally defeated, but he's not the type to take losing lightly. After the explosion, Kyo and the team regroup. No signs of his father. He does state that the road for him is long, as he is now the head of the Kusanagi clan. What destiny awaits him? Old rivals come out of the shadows. We'll cover the next chapter of the King of Fighters legacy with part 2, the King of Fighters 95. Until next time. If you enjoyed my KOF content, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell so this way you know the next time I upload the next chapter. I do appreciate your time and thanks again.